We've got the latest expansion for Earth right here on the table. This is Animal Kingdom. This is actually pretty straightforward expansion, but an adorable way to enhance your game of Earth. And in fact, spoiler alert, we're going to count down our top 5 adorable animals at the end of the video.
And you'll see we have a variety of these animals spread out in front of us. So what did Earth need? It needed more things to go on cards.
It needed adorable things to go on cards.
And that's what we've got. We've got all of these different animals. This is the Animal Kingdom, of course. What it doesn't add is new cards that are going into your tab below. Right. So the animals don't actually come out of that deck. It's its own separate deck of cards. And what these cards are, they're almost like unique player powers, although every card is double-sided and offers either a unique power that you're going to get to use or a global power that everyone is going to get to use. So this is kind of a way to, I would say, liven up your Earth games.
Liven up with animal life. Yeah, like Ryan said, there's going to be this deck of cards, and at the beginning of the game, you're going to shuffle these up. You're going to flip one over on its global ability side, give everyone a chance to take a look at that, because that's going to come into play every time you go around the table. So between the last player and the starting player, everyone's going to look at that. It'll do a thing or give you a thing, something you'll have to deal with. Then, before you start, everyone's going to get some cards, and you do a little bit of a draft, which is going to ultimately result in the players choosing either one or two of those. Now, if you choose one, everyone chooses one, I believe. If you choose two, you choose two, and everyone does. It's they say it's a little more complicated, but effectively it just gives you 2 animal powers that you can use throughout the game.
Yeah, but you can't use them willy-nilly.
No.
We talked about the global power triggers once per round. On the other side, your animal ability is going to be specific to when you place the leaves out on the scoring board. So, if you've played Earth, you get those 4 leaves, and you can claim those fauna objectives, and potentially the objective for filling out your entire board. So potentially 5 claims you can use.
There are 5 leaves. Most players don't get 5 things.
Most don't. But every time you play those, you're going to get to trigger your animal ability. And each one of these animals comes with some number of miniatures. Some of them just one, some of them with multiples based on how that power works. And generally speaking, now we haven't gone through every single ability in all of these cards, but generally speaking, the power is going to have you actually take the mini for that particular animal, place it on some of your cards, and then based on where you place it, it does some different things. And then in the future, when you turn in another leaf, you're moving them around, and again, triggering some different powers based on your animal.
Yeah, a lot of the powers are based on some of the movement. There's a variety of things that happen with these cards. You're going to move animals to a specific card or X number of spaces, things like that. Some of these have end of game scoring involved in them. But like Ryan said, you can use a leaf like that while it's your turn. Now, the cool thing about the using of the leaves, one, this gives people another way to use their leaves, right? Like I just said, I, for one, didn't ever get all of the fauna cards. When we played with Emily, by the way, hello, Emily. I'm sure she's watching this. If you watch the channel, it's surprising that she's not here, but she's not. But I didn't get all of those fauna cards, so it gives you another thing to use the leaves for, because in fact, you can use them while you place one on the fauna cards, or you can just simply discard one, but you're burning it. You're not getting it back to use the ability as well. It is a tough decision, but I'll probably do that as willy-nilly as the game allows.
Yeah, and I think a big part of this expansion is that draft in the beginning, looking at your cards, looking at their powers, knowing when to use them. Because before it was just kind of grab those points when you can grab those points. But now there's a little bit of an element of well, I don't want to use this ability right now. I'm not set up for this ability, so I don't necessarily want to grab those points. Or like David said, you could have a game where you just look at the 4 fauna cards and go,
nope.
No.
Well, I mean, you generally look at least one of those and say, that's not going to happen for my situation.
At least one is sometimes they even conflict. You're like, if I do this one, I'm not doing this one. So that gives you an excuse to use it. But again, since these powers are so varied, there's so many different ways they work, it's not going to be the same strategy for every animal. So when you're drafting the animal, looking at that power, and you're trying, again, you're trying to build a board that supports that power. You don't want to just sit here with a power you can't use, because some of these do require your animal to be on specific types of cards. So I think it does add, well, it's not maybe as much as abundance. It's not as abundant as abundance.
Exactly.
It does add a new level of strategy to the way you're thinking about the cards.
A little bit. Kind of like we said at the top, it's like player powers. You're going to get these. And if you take 2, I guess there's probably, some idea of potentially getting some synergies between the 2. But also, like we said, you're not going to be using these a ton. You only have 5 of those leaves, and you're probably going to use some of those leaves, you know,
To score points?
well, you still get to use the animals when you use the leaves that way. But oftentimes, you're going to be able to use these max 4 or 5 times throughout the game. You don't want to fall asleep at the wheel towards the end of the game and go, oh, I didn't use it. I think for the most part, you're going to look at the powers and say, okay, in a pinch, I have this to use to get a couple more resources there, to do this or that.
Draw some
maybe
cards, do
maybe some
whatever.
additional end of game scoring so that you can think, okay, I am going to cough up points by not doing these fauna cards, but I'm going to focus on doing this, which is probably what I would do because it's sitting there in front of me, staring me in the face. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to do this. But yeah, that's what the game does. These cards are going to come into it and add just a little bit more to the game, but not too much that it's going to feel overwhelming or burdensome while you play.
Yeah, and if you're really not sure, that's what's cool. I like when games do this. Each one has a star rating of complexity. So, you know, you can kind of just decide, I'm just going to do something very simple this game.
You know what they don't have, though, is they don't have a cuteness factor.
Okay, we're doing the
which
cuteness
is why
factor.
we're going to apply those right now. So, and I was going to say in no particular order, but in a very specific order, we're going to count down the top 5 most adorable animals in this expansion, at least in this prototype that we have here. Who knows what they're going to have in the final version. But at number 5, we've got the capybara. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
We're going one on the other?
Capybara is a 3 difficulty. We're not going to go over the abilities, but we'll put them up on screen as we're talking about them.
really
So I'll
cute.
vamp here for a minute so you can take in the ability and see what it does. But the capybara, very stoic. Maybe not the most adorable and cute, but I love the picture of it.
This guy's adorable. And this guy's number 4.
Sorry to interrupt, guys, but it's Emily here. You thought you were going to make an Earth video without me? No, thank you. I also think all these animals are adorable, so I had to step in to give you my number 4, which, holy cow, is he a cutie. That's right, it's the Highland cow. He's adorable. You can see all the hair in his face, but if you thought he couldn't get any cuter, turn him around. That's him with his calf. Oh my god, they are adorable. I cannot wait to get this guy on my board, moving him around. Okay, I just had to say something at least. David, you can continue with number 3.
The next one is the Siberian chipmunk. I've never seen a Siberian chipmunk, mainly because we live in Indiana. Another 3 difficulty one, but this one is just stopping to smell the flowers.
Yeah, I feel that picture is so cute. And I think I've seen that picture of him with the... Some of these pictures, I think they must have gotten from like National Geographic or something.
Maybe.
Because they're
and
really...
if you think that picture is adorable, the back of the card, which I'm hoping I have access to right now.
Oh, they do have... I didn't even
Look
realize.
at that one.
That is... Oh my gosh.
That's a more adorable picture right there. What is number 2?
Number 2 is the quokka, which is just an adorable creature. No matter where
I've never
you
heard
are.
of it. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, they're adorable. And like, look at the face this one's making, and he's got that like...
He just looks happy.
He just looks happy.
He
He's
just
got those
looks
big
super
eyes.
chill.
And the back is like a family unit.
Oh, very
I like that they
adorable.
used 2 different pieces of artwork. They could have just put the same piece on both sides,
They
but
could've.
I'm glad they don't. I'm just going to keep staring at the quokka.
And at number 1, and this is a 1 complexity, and if you watch the channel here at MVM much, you might know why we would pick this one. It is not the dusky leaf monkey, but it is close. It is the squirrel monkey. And I didn't look at the back picture. Another family unit thing sort of going on here. But the front, I mean, some of these monkeys are just the most adorable.
It could be the
ever.
cousin of the dusky leaf monkey.
It does. You thought it was the dusky leaf monkey
when I
at
just
first.
saw the picture.
It's not quite as fuzzy.
I got a little excited. I was
but
like, is that it?
It's nearly as fuzzy. We might need to have a competition between the dusky leaf monkey and this card. Do a poll. See who
Which
thinks.
one's cuter?
I think most
That's a
people
great
will pick
idea.
the dusky leaf monkey,
mean, how
but
do you
this
beat
one
that?
is a close
How do you
second.
beat that monkey?
But that is Earth, Animal Kingdom, the expansion for Earth. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think there will be more expansions for
Yes.
Earth?
100%. As long as people keep playing it, I think I said this when Earth came out, that the foundation for that game that they built can be endlessly expanded on.
That is true. That is
Endlessly,
true.
so-
But they've got a lot of cards already.
They do.
I was
Well,
kind of happy to see not a ton more
Right.
cards
If they
in
do
this.
more stuff like this, that
'Cause
doesn't.
you'd have a
introduce-
stack this tall on the
I
table.
want like the tree of life. I want like different trees.
Oh
Like,
boy.
yeah.
There are some
There's
opportunities.
some opportunities.
But if you have any questions about this at all, please make them in the comments below. We'll get down there and answer whatever we can. Until next time, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.